Good morning, Spain. How lovely to have you with us once again here in our studio at Hard Rock Hotel Marbella. Another exciting and informative program lined up for you. We're going to be traveling around Spain, learning a new simplified Spanish recipe with Chef Nick. We're going to be looking at some best-selling novels set in winter. Why are women gravitating increasingly to women's circles? Looking at the benefits of Barre exercises. Some natural tips to ward off the common cold, which seems to be afflicting everybody right now. How it is growing up in the two cultures, which is a lot of youngsters of people who've moved over to Spain are experiencing at this moment. All this and more coming up in the next hour, so stay tuned. Good morning.
Good morning.
Lovely to be with you all again and getting ready for the festive season. Time is running by quickly. In fact, we've been talking about how quickly time is actually going. And does it go by quicker as we get older? What do you girls think? I've had this conversation lately with a lot of people. Time's flying, increasingly so.
I remember when I was younger and adults used to talk about time going quickly as you get older, and I thought, oh, it hasn't happened to me yet because I'm young, but it's definitely happened now. Absolutely. I feel it all the time.
But do you think it is an age thing?
Definitely, and I don't really know why, but for sure it's Monday, then it's Sunday, then it's Monday, and it doesn't matter how busy I am, it just seems to be, well, whether I'm busy or not busy, it's just time goes quicker. I don't know how.
Watching my boys grow up, I'm just like, wow. I'm seeing some pictures pop up on the phone and the memories. I'm like, wow, that feels like yesterday.
Yeah, it's funny watching kids grow up with the reality on the passing of time that you don't have necessarily otherwise. It's a really clear visual, isn't it?
I feel like time's going by really quickly, and my parents have told me that it starts getting even quicker when you hit 25. So I don't want to know how fast it's going to go once I hit 25.
Really? So you already feel that time is
definitely. Like, I don't even know where my uni years went. Like, genuinely, I'm not just saying it. It's gone by so fast. Like, the last year is insane.
And when you think back to when you were tiny, do you remember then, like summer holidays? Did that feel like they were eternal? Or
forever. The Christmas holidays as well. They were like 6 months in my head. They were so long, and then the last few Christmas holidays I've had, they've been like, donk, back to uni, donk, finished. I enjoy them the same, but no, it definitely feels like even at this age that it's starting to go a lot quicker.
I heard a report that was talking about that the reason why potentially that time goes faster when we're older is because of that routine. So when your brain's learning new things, it's putting more time into the process, into remembering that, growing the different circuits, and therefore the time seems to go slower because you're more present. Whereas if we do things on an automatic repetition basis, then we're not getting the perception of the time going by as much. Because we're on this your brain just knows, okay, Thursday I'm doing this, Wednesday I'm doing that, so it's just jumping forwards. And I found that kind of intriguing because there was a film called Click, I think, like that, when you could have a remote control for life, and if you weren't liking what was going on at that moment, you could just fast forward kind of thing. But it has that kind of feel to it. And I thought, well, maybe, but then you and I are both very busy, but perhaps we do the same things repeatedly. It's always the same thing on a Monday. I don't know.
It is weird, isn't it? Because people who don't do as much also feel it, don't they? So we're busy, but we're also feeling like time is going quickly. But then there are older people who are retired who maybe aren't necessarily doing as much, but still going. I don't mean they're sitting there not doing anything. You know, a lot of retired people I know are going on holiday regularly, which is great, but they're definitely feeling like time is going quickly. So I just think automatically as you get older, we feel it. I don't really know why.
I like what you were saying, Nicole, about having challenge making you neural pathways. Because
that's what it is.
Yeah.
There's the right word for it.
It's a challenge. It's digging a new way. So it's finding something to get into that we would like to do that feels difficult and going for it, you know, because like I did paddle and that was really tricky to get into because of all the different, the professionalism of it in this country. Spain is well known for paddle, isn't it? But yeah, once I started to practice that did seem to slow time down actually, because it's a challenge.
You're so aware, you're so present.
Yeah, because I'm meeting new people that I wouldn't normally face and coming across like criticism and praise, like, oh, praise for paddle, I'm rubbish at this. But yeah, I suppose it's freezing time and it's noticing all of these things, like, oh, people are noticing that I'm good at this, or people are noticing that I'm bad at this. You know, it's starting a new something inside of you.
I love that. I love the idea that you're never too old to learn something new, you know, and people who aren't working, that are taking on challenges, whether it's learning a new language, whether it's, I don't know, trying to do a jigsaw every week, or seeing how many books they can read in a week, whatever it might be. It doesn't necessarily need to cost a lot of money. It doesn't necessarily involve traveling, which obviously a lot of us would love to do more of, but just the idea of taking on something new. So you're not just, you know, sitting in a chair aimlessly watching television or listening to the radio or whatever. It's challenging yourself.
Yeah.
And I love the idea that we should be doing that throughout our lives, you know, keeping our brains active, that kind of thing.
I think that is fundamental, isn't it? It's just keeping the brain active, keep it moving, doing something, thinking.
Yeah.
If you can't
Absolutely.
be physical, use your brain, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Because not everyone
Definitely.
can
I think
get
you can
physically
do-
active.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Thinking is the main thing, because when you're on your phone, I feel like you don't think anymore. You
Yeah.
just
Yeah,
on
scrolling.
TikTok. It's so easy to look stuff up. So yeah,
Exactly, it's that
Keeping
switch
busy.
off. It's that when you're in that automated state.
Yes.
So we would avoid the automated state, definitely.
Yes.
It would seem that the world and his uncle and our lovely Hannah is suffering from the common cold. It is going around. So Linda thought it most appropriate to try and give us some tips on how to avoid getting it in the first place.
Yes, definitely. I didn't realise that you were feeling not so great.
Well, yeah, it just keeps coming round and round and round and round. Very, very frustrating.
Oh dear, okay.
So very appropriate.
Yes, no,
it's
definitely.
perfect.
Yeah. Well, in the Western world, we always think that we have to wrap up warm not to catch a cold. But from the Ayurvedic point of view, it's you have to keep your digestive fire because that's stoking you up and keeping you warm. And if that's not like warm and keeping good, then your extremities are trying to like keep it warm, and then everything else from outside dries up, and that's how you can like get viruses and bugs and colds that are like kind of flying around. And in the Ayurvedic world, they say that it comes through the nose. So they would actually say to put a little bit of hot sesame seed oil just here, so it keeps it moist instead of drying out, and that prevents the viruses from coming in. I mean, that's one suggestion. I mean, not many people would do that, but that's what's one of their suggestions. But what I would like to say is more keeping yourself hydrated. So things like hot teas. I know now you're into your cardamom and your clove tea, but I mean, this is just the favorite anyway. This is like the regular one is with just lemon juice and ginger. And it's so important to have a really good honey, because the honey is also I can't even say that word, microbial. So it's antibiotic, it's like all the natural kind of stuff, anti everything. So it's good to have a good honey. You could actually just grate some ginger with a spoonful of honey and just have that every day. It's pretty strong, but with the honey it helps it to go down. So that's like another thing that you can do. There's a really nice tea that you can make yourself at home, which is cumin seeds, coriander seeds and fennel seeds, and you just boil it for like 10 minutes and you keep drinking that throughout the day, so that keeps you like warm and hydrated, because that's the most important thing. And then the foods that you eat, I know it's coming up to Christmas and stuff, and you're going to be having your Brussels sprouts and you're going to have your cauliflower and you're going to have your cabbage, and those are really good. I mean, red cabbage has got so much vitamin C in it, more vitamin C than oranges. So roasting those kind of things in the oven will help also to give you the right nutrients to your body. But they also have a certain enzyme, all these, especially Brussels sprouts and the cabbage, they have, and the cauliflower and the broccoli, they have an enzyme that if you put mustard with it, helps to bring out sulforaphane, which is another ingredient that really is good for the body, for the immune system, for helping preventing lots of illnesses. So maybe a lot of people don't really think about mustard or the mustard seeds. So you can actually, with the mustard seeds, you can just buy them plain, and you can just grind them. And then after you've roasted your cabbage or you've roasted your Brussels sprouts in the oven, then you just sprinkle a little bit of the mustard powder on top, and that really helps for your body to absorb more things.
Oh, lovely.
Then you've always got the golden milk that I always talk about, which is with cinnamon, with turmeric. You always have to have the black pepper in there, and again with the honey. You've got to put a little bit of oil, so like it's really good if you have a little bit of coconut oil or ghee, something like that. That also helps the body to absorb better. So those are all kind of like little ideas. And then what will be really good for you is to do a foot soak. So you could just with grated ginger and hot water, and then that's like a nice way of soaking. You can also do mustard seeds again in there. So now I'm promoting mustards.
Just don't drink it after you've had your feet. Exactly.
Definitely not.
the right way around.
Definitely not. So yeah, all those kind of things. Oh, you've always got the Epsom salts. You've got also those things that help with the minerals in the body. So I mean, because if you keep your body warm, I mean, ideally the digestion is the most important thing. So you want to really have put all different digestive spices into your food so your digestion is good and you don't have a slow digestion, so then the toxins not leaving your body. You want to clean those out. And actually Brussels sprouts are really good for detoxing.
I thought they were just good for creating gas.
Well, that's probably the process of getting
Getting it all out.
But to stop the gases with Brussels sprouts, if you also put the seeds with it, with fennel seeds or cumin seeds, if you put those kind of things with it,
You mean when
or
you're
ginger.
cooking it?
Yeah. Or you could, and roasting it is actually better for you than actually boiling the Brussels sprouts. And so if you have it with a little bit of ginger, so you roast it with ginger, then that will also be less gas, but it helps the liver to detox, and so it's also good for cleansing the body,
lovely.
because with a cold and with anything that you've got, you want to get it out of your system, so you want to push it out. So
Quite
Some really
fascinating,
nice,
but lovely
yeah.
to see that so many natural and easy accessible ingredients can actually be very effective.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Definitely.
Go
I
home and
love
soak your feet.
ginger,
love
and
ginger.
I can feel the goodness.
Yeah.
This morning, as I say, I had honey, lemon, and ginger with hot water, and you can just feel it doing you good. It's
Your body's
great.
thanking
it kind of
Yeah.
helps you to sweat a little bit, so it brings it all out, because it's like that spice. It's all gets it all out of you. So,
Yeah,
no,
really
definitely.
good.
Yeah.
It's like burning all the cold out.
Yeah,
Exactly. One way or another.
Exactly. They're lovely.
Everything we are starts here. We're about waking up with the sun every morning and taking care of what's ours. We're about traditions, our legacy. We're about making things simple. We're about turning food into works of art. We're about table talk, long conversations, and keeping each other close. We're about tapas, pescadito, good wine, cocido, gazpacho, paella, migas, olives, churros. We are and always will be about enjoying food. Gastronomy defines us.
When you think of car or motorbike insurance, think Linea Directa. When you most need your insurance company, Linea Directa are there for you. With tow trucks, courtesy car, mechanics, legal advice, even overnight stay in a hotel if you need it. There's a whole department dedicated to us Brits with people who speak English there to help us. If you're looking for an insurance policy that really takes all your needs into consideration whilst you're driving in Spain, then Linea Directa really is the company for you. Why don't you give them a call? 952 14 78 34 or contact them online. A few months ago, we were talking about leaving reviews when we go to a restaurant, a bar, a hotel, any business. And nowadays, that is such a big plus for a business, particularly local businesses, to give your feedback, because I think a lot of us nowadays, wherever we're going to go, we're looking to see, even if it's on a like a delivery food service, you're looking to see what have people said. Do you tend to leave reviews? I don't do as much as I should do. I'm shocked at myself, actually.
I don't do as much as I should, but what I do like is that you've got the history of where you've been, and so then now and again when I've got a bit of time, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that, and oh yeah, it was so good, and so yeah, I will write some nice things. But I think it is important to write the nice things as well, because with a lot of things with TripAdvisor, people, when they're annoyed with something, then they'll write like everything, but when they're happy with it, they tend not to even bother with putting anything good
This is so
in
true.
there.
This is so true.
But-
I think it helps people get found online as well. When you write a review, somehow it helps with the search of that
definitely, yes.
that particular business. Say it's a baker's, then it's going to help local people find that bakery more than the other ones that haven't had a review. I think it does help.
Yeah, no, definitely. But also, I mean, I know with TripAdvisor, I used to have a boutique hotel, and I was actually top in Ogen. But anyway, if you did get a bad review, that brought your ratings down, and it stops people from actually coming. And I did sack a cook one time. he wasn't that great and I had to sack him, but he was so angry, and he actually wrote a review saying all terrible things which were not really true. So you have to be also careful about some of the reviews that are on TripAdvisor,
Because they can just be sour grapes.
Yeah, and it could be also for the competition. Maybe someone from the competition doesn't want you to exceed. So, but for me, when I did have this bad review, I mean, I had to get lots of really good reviews to like push it down to the bottom. But you do have like the gauge. You can see like the bad reviews if you want to, or you can see the better reviews. So,
But it's a shame that.
I never actually write reviews, I don't think, negative or positive, and I maybe should. I maybe once, if I felt something's really good and they've asked me, then I will. But I'm surprised by the amount of people that actually do. When I was working at a restaurant, people would walk past and I'd say, come in, and they'd stop, get their phone out, check the reviews on Google TripAdvisor before deciding whether to come in or
Standing
not.
there in your face.
Yes, like obviously, it's very obvious what they're doing. It's a bit... But I was so surprised by the amount of people that do that, and I would never think of doing that. But it just goes to show that lots of people do care about what other people's opinions are naturally. But I think it's something that hasn't come naturally to me as of just yet. But maybe I should start.
Sometimes I want to, but you get caught up. Once you've left, you get caught up with other things, or when you're not in the same mood you were when you did it, so you can't write the same review. But I think it's something we should do, and I think it's something that's curious. On our recent trips in Axarkia, it turned out that the TripAdvisor of, say, back in the 19th century was completely different to how we would do reviews now. Because in the days of bandits, and apparently they were quite cute, these Spanish bandits, that the British women, their review of their experience and their holiday was whether they'd been held up or not by a bandit. Went on holiday in Spain.
all exciting stuff.
So what a lot of people think about Malaga and the Costa del Sol is that tourism really started in about the 1950s and 1960s, and then since then it's just grown and grown. But in fact, during the 19th century, some of the more adventurous people, particularly from the UK, would come to the south of Spain in search of being held up by a bandolero, by a bandit. So it is said that particularly adventurous women would come hoping to be held up by a bandit. And it's said that if they weren't, they would go home disappointed. So can you imagine that, that would have been the equivalent of the 19th century TripAdvisor. They'd have gone home, they would have complained to their tourist agency, their travel agency, to say, I went all the way to the south of Spain. In those days, of course, there were no airplanes. They would have got the boat. It would have taken a long time. They'd have gone home, written to whoever, complaining that they hadn't been held up by a bandolero, a bandit, in Andalusia, and therefore their trip was a waste of time. So, of course, these bandits were known for being young, handsome young men who were very, very charming. So the ladies would turn up with all of their jewels, hoping that the young man would take her hand and say, my, what a beautiful hand, you don't need all these jewels, while he very, very carefully took them off her hand. And that's exactly what the young adventurous traveller in the 19th century was looking for. So here we are at the Galleria del Bandolero El Borje. This is basically a museum really dedicated to the bandits that operated in the Axarquía area and across Malaga province, really particularly in the 19th century. Now, El Borje is really famous for one bandit in particular, El Bisco de El Borje. El Bisco means the cross-eyed one, and he was cross-eyed, but it didn't stop him doing his banditry stuff. So inside the museum, it's full of artifacts, objects, information about the bandits that operated in Malaga province and indeed across Andalusia. In 2020, this museum acquired a whole load of things from the museum in Ronda. So there used to be a bandit museum in Ronda, which sadly closed down, but they brought all of the stuff that they had in that museum to this one. So it's now the biggest banditry museum certainly in Malaga, if not possibly in Spain, I'm not sure. Okay, so let's go inside and find out a little bit more about the bandits of the Axarquía area and El Borje.
Es un trabuco, ¿no? Trabuco.
¡El vestido!
Good morning, Spain! Make my day. Make my day.
Our lovely Kate is always up for trying new things. This time it's been bar classes. How was that?
Oh, it was so much fun. I love it. Have you guys ever tried it before?
Well, I did ballet as a little girl, and that's kind of the bar they use, right? It's like a ballet bar.
Yeah.
So I did for a little bit when I was younger, but I remember going home and saying, my muscles hurt, this isn't fun, I don't like this, and I stopped.
But do you know what? I think that's what it is though, because like say if you were to be looking at a bar class from the outside, you think, oh, you know, that's easy. You're just kind of, you know, lifting your leg up and doing a bit of this, but it really is like a full body like workout. But what's really lovely is that it is low impact. So it's great for the joints. It's not like you're putting any stress on them, which is perfect. So it's mixing like stretching, so kind of like yoga stretching, Pilates, ballet, all into like one full body exercise. So it really is like a full body where you're working all the different muscles, the joints.
Totally selling this to me. I love the idea of that, because it doesn't sound sweaty, it sounds like...
Exactly. It sounds... Yes, as a remembering back, I remember my muscles hurting, and I didn't like that very much. However, I've progressed since then.
It's very elegant, isn't it? Like classy.
So beautiful.
Yeah, beautiful.
Must be very good for posture. Because you work a lot of the core muscles, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's funny because I don't know if it's after having cesareans, but I find I kind of I learned to like ignore my middle region. And it's only when I started doing the working out and lifting weights that they even like kept on talking about, and I couldn't even find it to begin with. I mean, I couldn't even get my body to react. Now I can. It's like I can say, okay, not great, but I mean, it's a beginning.
Yeah.
But I do see that could be really good for strengthening the core, which is fundamental, isn't it? Especially as we get older.
And I think that's what it is as well. I think like so many of the exercises that we do, whether or not it's Pilates, whether or not it's, I don't know, functional training, it really does all come from your powerhouse. So as you say, it's so important to have that like super strong and that mind and body connection, because I think that's what it is as well, because I think we're all like, we always talk about this, but we're all guilty of it. Like we're all going at like 100 miles an hour, but that is your moment to go into the class and to really to really think about what you're doing, connecting with your body, and just like putting that mindfulness into like
slow
your
time
exercises.
down.
Exactly.
It really does seem everything comes back to the same thing. It's being present.
Yeah, I think as well, as you say, and then you maybe start to enjoy it as well a little bit more, because as you say, you're actually in the moment and you're actually enjoying it and kind of connecting with what you're doing. So it is.
Did you find it easy, or?
It is hard.
Yeah.
I think, as you say, like when you do them right, and it's just like, not simple exercise, but as you say, kind of, even just like, raising your arms like up and down, like if you do that a certain amount of times, like you do start to ache. So I think that was really nice. And obviously like just going through all the motions, like, you do your nice little warm-up exercises, and then you can mix like, bands into it, you can mix weights into it, and then you really do have like a full body workout, which is
as you
really
say,
lovely.
it's low impact, plus you have that holding yourself, you can steady yourself on the bar.
Exactly.
So it's not like risky if
No.
you do it carefully and watch the moves and get the right guidance. Don't ever just go and do these things.
Exactly.
Please do get the right guidance.
And someone, as you say, that you trust and that you have fun with, because I think with any class that you do, you really do need to connect with who you're doing it with, because you can have anyone that's shouting out to you, right? Okay, like 4 more, like da-da-da-da-da. But if you're not kind of enjoying like their presence and their energy, then you're not going to have like the same enjoyment out of it. So
That's so true.
Yeah.
That's so true. The amount of times I've gone tried to go to a gym or do things, and it just felt so out of place, and it's so unpleasant.
Yeah.
And then when I met the personal trainer Pedro, who's been to the program several times, the way he has of encouraging, he does little dances, he's silly, it's very light-hearted, it doesn't make you feel that you're doing it wrong. It's just like that sweet encouragement, and I need sweet encouragement. I'm not one for being shouted at. It's finding that right guidance, isn't
That
it?
happened to me. I tried the gym ages ago, and it was just not for me. Like I was embarrassed to use all the machines. Like I like sport, but I'd never actually tried going to the gym. Then recently I started going with my boyfriend. I met some really lovely girls there, and now it's genuinely really fun. And I go for myself as well. Whereas before I was like, absolute no-go. Can't sit here. I'm so embarrassed and don't know what to do with myself.
And as you say, I think that's what it is though, isn't it? It's like trialing new things and like different moments in your life, different chapters and stuff.
Well, you've started running.
No.
So impressed.
So thank you.
I mean, and not only that, you're holding up a camera and filming it. I mean, talk about
wanted some evidence.
multi-purpose.
And I was enjoying it so much, and I couldn't believe I was enjoying it. I think the fun element, like you said, and having a really nice trainer, but this is just pre-recorded things on couch to 5K.
Amazing.
So it's fun, it's lots of good music and encouragement, and it's for a beginner. So I think like you're saying, the beginner aspect, it's helpful for someone who doesn't know anything about ballet. To an entry point.
And I think that's the hardest point though, is actually moving and doing it. So as you say, once you move and once you start, that can be the hardest point though. So that's like every little movement is so like you should be proud of, I always think.
Exactly.
And it starts to feel really good. It starts to feel fun. You're like, wow, I've just done the first one, wow.
Yeah.
And I've done the second one, wow, and the third one. And once you've done 3, you're kind of doing it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I know. And as you say, like you're saying, like then you find like maybe like a group that you like to go with, or you know, you see someone and you're like, oh my God, yes, so we'll see each other next week. And it motivates you to be like, do you know what, I told my friend that I've got to be going, so I need to get in there.
And you're building social.
Exactly. I want to as opposed to I have to.
Yeah.
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 Hello and good morning, Spain. Today I'm going to be making chorizo con almejas. Clams and chorizo. Really, really good combination this. Really easy. Got a pan on, medium to high heat. I've got my clams that I've put in salted water for about 10 minutes, and then I've changed the water and repeated the process twice. I'm just going to take them out now and let them dry off a bit while we do all the other preparation. Beautiful products, this. The chicken of the sea, they say. So I've got shallot, just going to top and tail this. Nice trick with a shallot is if we cut down the middle and almost finish just before we go to the end of the skin and peel, then we get a really nice peeled shallot and we don't have to mess around with the skin. So I'm going to really finely dice this, so I'm going to slice one way. Really sharp knife helps with this. Slice down a couple of times if you can. And then as thin as we possibly can. Perfect. Piece of garlic as well. We're just going to give that a slice. Really take your time with this. It's really worth trying to get some really even slices so that they all cook at the same time. So into my dry pan, I'm going to put in some chorizo, which I've finely sliced. Nothing in the pan, there's no oil. We want to render the fat off this chorizo. So a couple of tablespoons of chorizo in there. And we just want to take our time with this and give it a good stir, moving it around, trying to encourage that natural oil to come out of the chorizo. This is going to take a good 5-10 minutes. If you feel like it's going too fast and it starts to get too much color, just turn the heat down a bit. We want to just really help this chorizo release all its natural flavors. This is going to be where we're going to get all the flavor from this dish. You can see already from my spoon that it's starting to release all those lovely oils. So I'm going to put my shallots in, and they're going to start frying off with that beautiful oil that comes off the chorizo. So we just want to take our time with this and let this cook down. So we can see now our chorizo is nice and crispy. It's let out all the oil. You can see the extra oil hanging out on the bottom of the pan there. So now I'm going to turn the pan right up, full heat, and get my clams in. Right, give these a little move around first. Good time to do a bit of seasoning. Just a little bit of pepper and a tiny bit of salt. Now you could use white wine for this or sherry. Sprinkle around, just want to cover the clams almost, lid on. Now you'll hear the sizzle, you'll start hearing them pop. You can give us a little shake of encouragement. It smells incredible in here. So you know already that this is going to taste amazing. These will literally just take a couple of minutes. Just going to move them around just to encourage those clams to open up. Perfect. Now, clams are all opened up. Just going to reduce the heat at this pan to almost off. I'm just going to scrape out the clams. Spread these across the plate. Try and keep as much juice to one side as we can. Scraping off those pieces of chorizo, they're going to fall into the little nests of each clam. Right, pan back onto the heat. Now we're just going to make this sauce a little bit more intense. So medium heat, just a few little knobs of butter, just to reduce what we've got left in the pan. Just move this around slowly. And it'll become this really nice glossy sauce with all the juice on the clams and all that leftover white wine or sherry you've used for that. Once that butter's all gone, the sauce is ready to go. So just going to finish off a little bit of chives, a little bit of parsley, and then we're going to pour this on top of those clams. Worth using a spatula for this one. Get all those juices out of your pan and onto the clams. Now, these are my chorizo clams. Now we could finish these off with a bit of lemon wedge or get a squeeze of lemon, bit of olive oil if you wanted to, but I like it just like this because you get these little pockets of clams that have got the chorizo in it and the juice that you've just poured on top. Delicious. This works so well together. If you think about it, if clams are the chicken of the sea, chorizo and chicken are best friends, so what a combination. Give this a try. Send me in your photos. Thank you very much and good morning.
Today I thought I would talk about some best-selling books set during winter time. Now here in Spain, depending on where you are in the country, you're kind of less likely to be experiencing snow, although as we know there are places that do have snow in Spain this time of year, definitely, because there's lots of lovely places to go skiing. But in general, we're quite lucky to be in the sunshine, even in the winter. And the idea of reading a book for a lot of people is escapism. So this time of year, it can be quite nice to read a book that's set during the winter where it's snowing and you can be in bed, snuggled up, reading your book, set in a cold setting, which is quite nice for this time of year, as opposed to in the summer enjoying reading a book where it's all set on the beach in a lovely, warm, beachy setting. So I thought I'd look at a couple of books that are set during winter, and the first one that popped to my head, which was my absolute favourite as a child, was The Snowman by Raymond Briggs.
So cute.
Which interestingly has no words in it whatsoever. It's a picture book, and it was made into a film that was equally brilliant, and there were no words in the film. It was a silent film. And it amazed me as a child, and still does now as an adult, what a beautiful story can be told both in book form and in film form without any words or audio whatsoever. The story really comes to life with those pictures, and then again animated pictures on film. You really feel and understand the excitement of that little boy seeing the snowman coming to life in his garden and him going on an adventure with this snowman. And then, I'm not going to do a spoiler alert, but then the horrendously sad ending that makes me cry every single time I see it or look at the book. It's just such a magical story. So if you've never read The Snowman, if you have, or I say read. It's not looked at the pictures of the snowman, if you have children or grandchildren, this time of year, I highly, highly recommend it because it's the most beautiful story. You can relate.
Oh yeah, no, I love it. I love it. I love it. I cry also with it.
Absolutely. And it's on the television every year at Christmas. And sometimes I can like randomly turn the television on and it's the last 4 minutes. I'll still cry. You don't need to see the whole bit, just literally the last bit. It's all really, really.
I was saying how sad it makes us, and yet we love it. There you go.
Yeah, exactly.
And the music that they put with it, that's like sends me off.
Beautiful. Yeah, it's really great story. And another book that I thought of, which was kind of like my Harry Potter when I was a kid, because as an adult I'm not really into fantasy, which Harry Potter is, but when I was younger I really loved The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe, which is fantasy, isn't it? A whole fantasy setting. And one of the lines in the book, I've written it down, always winter but never Christmas. And that's one of the lines in Narnia. And The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe is just one of the books in the Narnia series written by C.S. Lewis. And there's 2 brothers, 2 sisters, and I'm an only child, so I couldn't relate to that. But just the idea of going into a wardrobe, opening this wardrobe, and then you're in this magical world where the animals come to life and talk to you, just was amazing as a youngster, really relating to that. So I think that's a fabulous book to get into, and it is. You've got the Snow Queen, so again it's winter, it's cold, and she wasn't.
Yeah, she's scary, isn't she?
Yeah, she was a bit mean.
I want that wardrobe though.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a lot of nice coats in that wardrobe.
Yes, there were big coats, weren't
Nice
there?
and cosy.
And then something completely different, which isn't going to make us smile in the same way whatsoever, but I thought it was worth a mention, is The Shining.
Oh gosh. Talk about getting chilly.
Yes, Stephen King. So not all, but some of Stephen King's books are set during the winter time, and The Shining is one of them. And you may have seen the film. If you haven't read the book, here's Johnny with Jack Nicholson.
All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy.
Yes, really,
very sinister.
Really, very sinister. Exactly. So it's set in this hotel in the middle of winter, and the winter kind of adds to the sort of not that winter is sinister, but just the whole atmospheric,
the isolation of it.
Isolation, exactly that.
Isolation, not a play on words.
Very good, very good. Yeah, so it all kind of goes really well together. So this is a more adult book, but some people love to be scared. I'm not really one of those, but some people
I used
love
to be.
I think that goes well with winter. The idea of being under your duvet, reading a scary book, and then it kind of goes back. The idea of being scared in winter sort of makes more sense than being scared in summer, I feel. So if that's your kind of thing, then I'd recommend The Shining as a nice scary winter book.
The multiple facets of Hannah and her recommendations.
I love that.
Make my day. Make my day.
Linea Directa has come up with a squatter policy for just €24 a year. You don't have to have your home insurance with them. This is a completely separate matter to protect you from squatters. For more information, call 952 147834 or their website, lineadirecta.com. My children have had the benefit of growing up with two cultures, living actually a very, very, very Spanish life growing up in Madrid and only having that geary foreign influence when we'd go on holiday to the coastal regions in southern Spain. Our lovely Lily has had the experience, and I thought it'd be really nice to get this first-hand opinion of a 21-year-old who grew up in Spain and, like my kids, then went back to the UK for uni, and now you've come back again.
Yeah, well, exactly. My parents are both from London, but they had me and my sister in Spain. So we're born here, we were brought up here, we went to local Spanish schools, very much Spanish. And then, as you said, we've obviously got the family English culture in our house. And I also went back to university to the UK, and I've just got back. So I can say that I fully integrated myself in both countries and have experience living in both. So yeah, I think it's extremely beneficial for a multitude of reasons. First of all, obviously the language. It's always fantastic to have two languages, and also to be bilingual. I think that opens so many doors. If you have English naturally, like as we know in Spain, everyone's dying to have English, so that's always a benefit. But also Spanish. It's such a widely spoken language across the world, so I definitely feel like for the future jobs and things like that, it's definitely a benefit. But also culturally, I feel like it makes you a lot more culturally aware, more open to new things. Even if you come across a culture or traditions that haven't got anything to do with the ones that you know, like in my case, British and Spanish, I still understand because of how different Britain and Spain are. So I understand how people do things differently, and I'm sure everyone has a bit of that, but I think it's just easier once you do know both countries so well.
Did you ever have a moment of feeling that you don't actually belong anywhere? In the sense, I know my kids have mentioned that they feel Spanish, but they're not. And when they go back to English, although they feel English, obviously just by their culture and other influences, they're not. So they don't really belong anywhere, because in England they see them as foreigners, and in Spain they see them as foreigners. So that was kind of, I think, a tricky thing for them to see themselves of, like, I know I'm English and I've lived here all my life, but I like my tea and I'm British, and they don't seem to have that clear identification.
Yeah, I do agree. I think if anything, I sometimes feel more Spanish, I sometimes feel more English, like it very much depends. And when I was here before moving, because I'd never lived in England before university, so before going to the UK, I obviously felt a little bit different. We celebrate the 25th of December instead of the 24th in my house. We have a roast dinner on a Sunday, so behind closed doors we were very much English, but then all of my friends and all of my social life is Spanish, so you definitely feel different. But then when I moved to the UK, you expect to just fully integrate and be perfectly fine, and then suddenly you feel very, very Spanish. So it took a little bit of getting used to, but again, because I do have the benefit of both worlds, and it was completely fine, and my sister's going through it right now actually. So yeah, I think there is a little bit of that where you don't completely feel at home, but then you also feel at home everywhere, so you can turn that around into a positive.
That is definitely it is. It's a, what they said, a double-sided, a double-edged sword,
yeah.
Something like that. It sounds a bit aggressive though, because it's all very positive.
Yeah, I remember my son when he was really small. He was saying, "But I've got two worlds. I've got the Spanish world and I've got the English world." He said, "Not all the children have that." You know, he felt sorry for the other kids that didn't have the two worlds, and I thought that was really sweet.
It's such a privilege, though. It really, really is.
Do you find you have to adapt your personality? So, for example, in Spain, you've grown up, I imagine, with the two kisses and everything being very personal. There's very open, very noisy. We're very demonstrative. I say we now, very demonstrative. And yet in England, it's all much quieter, much less hand movements, very little physical contact as compared to here. Did you find that curious?
100%, especially when I did move over to the UK, because obviously in that sense I'm very Spanish. So I lived with 10 people in first year, for example, and I did get to know the girls and they were my friends, so we would hug. But I never hugged or got close to any of the other people or any of the guys that lived in the flat, because shaking a hand is a bit awkward, isn't it, if we're all 18, 19, but then none of them would ever give two kisses or hugs or anything. And also, I'm quite loud normally, and I was sat on a bus in the UK and I was speaking to my boyfriend in Spanish, so automatically you go into Spanish mode.
And loud.
And an older man said, "Excuse me, you're speaking really loudly." I was mortified. So a little bit of that, definitely.
Whenever I go to British events, I have this one friend in particular, she will say to me, "Nicole, they can't hear you down the end." It's her way of saying, "Nicole, you're being ever so loud." But it is, the Spanish are loud. I mean, but very passive aggressive. But I mean, it's like the Spanish are loud. They go out with their families, they go out with their children. Everybody's talking at the same time. It's a completely different dynamic, which does make certain situations when you're trying to cross over
difficult to adapt to,
difficult
maybe.
to
But
adapt.
I think again that's a benefit, isn't it? Because we're very open out there, and then also we have our British side, which also comes with its good things.
Exactly.
So yeah, I think
We are blessed.
Yes, very privileged.
100%.
Anyone who is self-employed or small businesses might have been getting in a panic because intentionally, the beginning of January, the 1st no less, there were new laws coming into practice of how one would have to invoice, changing everything tremendously. I have to say that I found it very confusing. So I was delighted to hear just at the end of last week that this has now been postponed for a year.
It went as quickly as it came in, as far as I was concerned. I heard about it one day last week, and then literally 2 days later, maybe even 1 day later, suddenly it wasn't happening anymore. I mean, it was quite unbelievable how quickly the turnaround seemed to have happened.
Talk about early
head,
Christmas
anyway.
presents. I was delighted. Just trying to get my head around it, the different ways of doing it, because it would mean you have to either send the invoices directly to Hacienda, to the tax office, which I feel is just like way strange. You can do it through your accountant by getting them to do the process. But again, it's like this direct invoicing. So when I suddenly heard that it was being postponed, it's like obviously everyone's finding it hard to get their head around.
Absolutely. But it was such a big thing to announce, and we were discussing it. A group of us were discussing it, going, okay, so how's it going to work? And trying to get our heads around it. And then, as I say, it felt like less than 24 hours later, we didn't have to worry about it anymore. It was very
Exactly.
weird.
We've even got organised lawyers and people coming in to explain exactly the processes, which will be done differently now, as we don't have to do it yet. But I think it would be good to actually still discuss it to see what the intention was, because this is the intention.
It's going to happen.
It is going to happen at some stage. So the longer we have to get our heads around it, the better.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Feels a little bit Big Brothery, doesn't it? It's a bit more kind of control again.
Yeah, it's way,
Seems a bit like that.
We'll leave it at that because I
sorry.
don't trust myself.
But it's all for the right reasons, and everyone's lovely.
Exactly. Allegedly. Linea Directa appreciates just how important our pets are to us, and that's why they brought out one of the most comprehensive insurance policies on the market from just €39.90 a year. Give them a call on 952 147834 or from the website lineadirecta.com. I think it is our duty to talk about topics that are a little taboo. And this week we're going to again broach the subject of loneliness. Coming up to the Christmas season, I think it is a time when people can either just feel like, yay, this is wonderful, or absolutely go into devastation because they don't know if they're going to be celebrating, if they have anyone to celebrate with.
When you're feeling a little bit lonely, what can we do about this? And funnily enough, there has been like a rise in women's circles, and that's what I want to talk about today. So the problem with being isolated and feeling lonely is that then you're disconnected from other women and these wonderful circles that do exist, and you're losing yourself, and you've got the pressures of home, and lots of women are expected to be able to be the emotional piece for the family and take on extra emotions of whatever one's children, husbands, you know, anyone in the family, plus their own things. And it's there's lots of pressure on women to know themselves, to just function. And with this loneliness is disconnecting us from what we'd love to have, this connection. But also, socially, we're on the internet lots more, so that's actually also a hindrance because we think we're connected, because we're connected more than ever with technology, but it's not the connection that we're really looking for, this deep connection, sharing.
Thousands of friends and no one to talk to.
Yeah.
100%.
And looking for likes.
Exactly.
Yeah,
looking for
a
that
response.
worth on likes, or which is terribly, we were talking before about reviews, but it's a similar thing. We've opened ourselves up nowadays to being reviewed as a person by Tom, Dick and Harry.
Yeah. And men are feeling it too. I didn't want to leave them out of it.
Actually,
But
next week we've got someone coming in to talk about men's groups, because of this issue, even men are realizing that finding a group, a tribe with whom you can vibe, is increasingly becoming important.
It's very important, but it's still a little bit taboo for men, to be honest, because even in the women's circle, there are some men that want to be involved, and then there is a small percentage of men, but then there are men's circles, but men feel a little bit like, I don't want to be fragile, I don't want to be vulnerable, and I want to be, you know, macho. How am I going to fit in with being open and actually bonding with men? So there's that as well. But for women too, once you've become so isolated, how do you get back into community and enjoy being a woman and understanding yourself? So this is where the women's circles have come in, and it's a great thing for women. It could be anything. It could be just meeting up to go and have coffee, or go to the cinema, or just hang out. But having that time for yourself, that focus on you to express. And
so you could join like a crochet club.
I was going to say
book
different crafts. I mean, I saw now coming up to Christmas, I mean, people making, you know, the wreaths and stuff. I mean, those are like fun, like kind of activities, or pottery classes, or.
And that's when you get to connect and chat about all the things you want to hear about. And, oh, yeah, this is going on, let's go to that. And you make more friends this way.
And I think dancing is something, especially if it's salsa or tango or something. And then both parties, because I know a lot of these places that the people go to is usually when they're on their own, or they've had a divorce, or, you know, they're going through something. It's one way of connecting, and it's just a dance at the end of the day. But you've got the touch, you've got the feel, you know, you're being like turned around, and that's also, I think, is a nice way of not feeling lonely.
Yeah.
And then there's quite a lot of clubs as well that you can find online that they meet regularly, you know, like Internations and all those kind of clubs and stuff. I think it's...
I'm going to say online
it's
is a
making
place
the first
to connect.
step, because I think that is the hardest. It's going somewhere on your own with unknown results.
Yes.
And humans aren't good at that.
No, I think, just to double on what you've just said, and you said it earlier, I think the main problem is once you get used to being lonely and being by yourself, the first step is what's so difficult. So obviously it would be wonderful to then join a group and do loads of things, but I think what I can imagine some of these women's groups is just sit there and listening and just leave your comfort zone, even if it's just you do that for the first 6 times and you just don't even say anything. I think the little small steps
because
so important.
The women that have been going to these circles a long time, it's lovely to meet new people, because they come and they say, oh, I've been lonely, and you can express that and be your true self and say, it's been hard, it's been horrible, I didn't know I was in this mess, and that's a chance to be seen and expressed. That starts the ball rolling then to become your best self with the women that have been going these circles for a long time.
And if you don't gel with the first group, try something different, because it is literally just finding the tribe with whom you can vibe.
Yes.
That's a good one.
I like that.
Make my day. Make my day.
We hope you found the programme informative and fun. Remember, if you're coming to the Hard Rock Hotel Marbella over the Christmas and New Year season, quote GMorning10 to get 10% discount off your activities. You can go to our website, goodmorningspain.com, for articles following up on all the topics discussed in our programme. Also links to our social media and our YouTube channel. We love having you with us. See you again next week. Have a great week. Bye for now. Bye.